Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Jeonnam series, where we explore the Admiral Sword, a Korean Joseon Dynasty sword form. Now if you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, check them out above. So today we'll be talking about the Hyanghu Kyukjukse, the offensive posture to the rear, as well as the spinning Kyukjukse, the spinning offensive postures. Now for today's video, I'll be doing the demonstrations using a bokken, because when you're spinning around indoors, then sometimes your footing is uneven and it's not a stable footing, and so the last thing you want is to be spinning with a sword and then a small friend, either a toddler or in my case, a furry friend, gets in the way and you struggle to control the sword with the live blade. So for safety purposes, if you're indoors, please use a bokken. If you're in an open field where no one is going to interfere with you, then by all means you can use a live blade once when you're used to the form. So we'll start with the Hyanghu Kyukjukse. This is the offensive posture to the rear, and it's basically a turn to attack behind you. So it comes in three parts, and I'm going to call them look, step, and strike. So the first part is look. This is the most important part of the form, and also the part of the form that is most often omitted. And it involves looking over your rear shoulder and using your peripheral vision to check if anything is in the way. And what you're looking for is if somebody is in range after your attack or if someone is in range before your attack. Because if someone is in range before your attack, that means that they can attack you while you spin. So don't do the motion or do it in a different way. Now this look isn't where you're trying to focus in and look over your shoulder. It's a quick look like a head check when you're driving. You're just using your peripheral vision to see if anything's there and making a quick judgment and then going for the motion or not going for the motion. Now the second part is the step. So in this one, after you've said that it's clear from the look, then you take your front foot and you turn towards your front side and you step it around 180 degrees so that you're facing towards the back. Now in the third part, the strike, it's exactly as it sounds, you do the sword strike. Now sword strikes that work very well for this one are the vertical strike, the downward strike in the direction you're going, horizontal strike in the direction you're going, or rising cut in the direction that you're going. All four of these work pretty well. So in this position, the Hyanghu Kyukjukse, then the focus should be on a quick look and turn and then attack, because in the turn you're very vulnerable and you don't want someone to attack you while you're doing that turn. So minimize your turning time and get to the attack as quick as you can. Now let's say that in the look you realize that someone is in range before the turn. That means that if you do the turn, they can attack you. What do you do then? Well, rather than stepping that front foot across, step your back foot and turn to the back. In that way then you've moved backwards away from the target rather than forwards towards the target, and that way then you can attack them while staying in measure and not impaling yourself on their blade. So now we talked about the Hyanghu Kyukjukse, that lays the foundation for all of the steps in the spinning Kyukjukse. So the spinning Kyukjukse has two variants, the spinning Hyangjo Kyukjukse, which is the spinning offensive posture to the left, and the spinning Hyangwoo Kyukjukse, which is the spinning offensive posture to the right. So if we take the three parts of the Hyanghu Kyukjukse, the offensive posture to the rear, and we say that that's one step, then the spinning Kyukjukse has three steps. And these steps are, I'm going to call them across, 180 to the back, and 180 to the front. So let's talk about the first part, across. So in this one, it's exactly the same as your normal Kyukjukse. You either step out into right long stance or into left long stance. And you can do either a downwards, horizontal, or a rising cut in the direction that you're stepping. The most important part with this is that this first step determines where your spin goes. If you step out to the side, you'll spin out to the side. If you step out to the front, you'll spin to the front. And so it's a really good way of determining where you'll go and setting your path. After that we get to the second part, which is 180 to the back. Now we go through all of the steps of the Hyanghu Kyukjukse. First step is look. Check over your rear shoulder, make sure that no one's there and that you can attack freely. After this, then step your back leg and spin towards your back 180 degrees. So now you're facing towards the back. And in this position, it's really important that in the spin you don't drop the sword down, because you want to use this posture to spin and repel enemies. So if you drop that sword, then you're not doing your job very well. And it doesn't have to be a cut with your arms, it can just be that the sword stays horizontal, so it moves with you. And finally we get to the third part, 180 to the front. Now that you're facing to the back, all you need to do to complete it is take that other foot and step it around 180 degrees, turning towards the front, and now you're facing the front and then you do your attack. Either a downwards cut, horizontal cut, or right cut in the direction that you're turning. And really it's that simple. All you got to remember is the 3 steps. Across, 180 to the back, 180 to the front. And then that's your spinning kyukjukse. And you can either do it as a spinning hyangjo kyukjukse, a spinning offensive posture to the left, or you can do it as a spinning hyangwoo kyukjukse, a spinning offensive posture to the right. So when will you do this form? In my opinion, the Jedokgum Turo shows it as a way to advance into enemy territory on a battlefield. And it's specifically on a battlefield because in a battlefield, everyone's attention is everywhere. And so when you see a spinning sword, then you don't think, okay, someone's spinning, I'm going to go and counter it. No, you think, oh, there's a spinning sword, I'm going to get out of the way. And if their attention is on you, then they move out of the way. If their attention is not on you, then they get cut by your motion. And so it's a very effective way on a battlefield to either clear the way and move inwards or to attack multiple people. Now, do not do this in a duel, because in a duel, one person's attention is on you and your attention is on them. So the moment you do a spin, then that's an opportunity for them to strike you during the spin, and believe me, they will, and it won't end well for you. Now, another opportunity that I think it should be used in is against full-length spears. Because on a battlefield, then not everyone uses swords, then it's a good way to counter really long spears. Full-length spears in Asia are about 4 to 5 meters long. They're really long, and the tip to the person is a really long distance away. So even if they pull it back all the way, then they can't actually attack you from as close as they are. There's a long distance between that. And so you can use the first cut across to parry the tip, and then use the spin to come close to them and then attack the user. And this only works because full-length spears have a long tip to user distance. If you have short spears, which are maybe 1.5, 2 meters long, then it doesn't work because they can pull it back right towards where they are and then just attack you again. So the short tip to user distance makes the spinning kyukjukse unusable. But in full-length spears where it's 4 to 5 meters long, then absolutely it's a very viable motion to counter against them. So that's it for today. I hope you like learning about the hyanghu kyukjukse and the spinning kyukjukse. It's a really fun form to do because you very rarely get to do spinning sword moves, and so these are quite fun. And it's a little bit different, and honestly in today's day and age with more dueling sport focus, it's not so useful. But it's nice to practice a battlefield form once in a while. Now, as always, if you're not used to the form, please use a bokken and stay safe. If you haven't checked out our document down below, then please do check it out. I've typed up my interpretation of the Jedokgum as well as the form as it's practiced in Korea, and you'll find it in a lot more detail than English translations of Muya Double Tongji. Now, this document is completely free, so please do check it out, and also please share it with your friends, because I made this so that the Jedokgum would be more accessible in the English language. With that, I'll see you next time.